Good morning, Primary 6. Today we have the first part in Lesson 5, which is exponents or repeated multiplication. In exponents, we have a number and this number is multiplied by itself a certain number of times. So we can say that exponents is repeated multiplication. First, let's remember if we have 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Here we have number 2 is added to itself 4 times. So I can write it as, here the repeated number is 2. So I can write number 2 one time. Here number 2 is repeated 4 times. So we can write it as 2 by 4. Because as we said before, that multiplication is repeated addition. So if we have a number and this number is added to itself many times, I can write it as the repeated number multiply how many times this number is repeated. But if we have 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, here we have number 2 is multiplied by itself 4 times. So I can write it as, here the repeated number is 2. So I can write number 2 one time. Here number 2 is multiplied by itself 4 times. So I can write number 4 as a small number to the right and above of 2. And I can read it as 2 to the 4th power or 2 power 4. So exponents contains two numbers. The first number, which is 2, is the repeated number and it called base. And the second number tells us how many times the base will repeated. It called power or index or exponent, and we can write it as a small number to the right and above the base. So 2 to the power 4 or 2 to 4th power means that we have to take number 2, which is in the base, and multiply it by itself 4 times as 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Now we have remarks. Remark number 1, if the number is raised to the second power, it called squared. So if we have 5 in base and 2 in power, so we can read it as 5 squared or 5 to the second power or 5 power 2. But if the number is raised to the third power, it called cubed. So if we have 7 in base and 3 in power, so we can read it as 7 cubed or 7 to the third power or 7 power 3. Now if we have 2 to the power 5, what about if we change the order of numbers to be 5 to the power 2? Is the result be the same or different? First we have 2 power 5. It means that number 2 is multiplied by itself 5 times. It means 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 5 times. It will be equal 32. But 5 power 2, it means that number 5 is multiplied by itself 2 times. It will be equal 5 by 5. So it will be equal 25. So 2 power 5 will be equal 32 and 5 power 2 will be equal 25. So 2 power 5 not equal 5 power 2. So exponents operation is not commutative property. It means that we can't change the order of numbers without getting a different answer. Now we have an important remarks. Remark number 1, any number to the power 1 will be equal the same number. For example, if we have 6 to the power 1, it means that number 6 is multiplied by itself 1 time. So it will be equal 6. If we have negative 3 to the power 1, it means that negative 3 is multiplied by itself one time, so it will be equal negative 3. So any number raised to the first power is itself. But any number power 0 will be equal 1. For example, if we have 5 power 0 will be equal 1. 4 power 0 will be equal 1. So any number raised to the 0 power will be equal 1. Complete. Number 1, we have 5 in the base and 3 in the power. So it called 5 to the power 3. The second one, if we have 8 by 8 by 8 by 8 by 8. So it will be equal 8 to the power what? Here number 8 is repeated how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will be equal 8 to the power 5. 2 to the 7th power will be equal what? Equal 2 in base and 7 in power. 4 cubed, it means 4 in base and 3 in power. 5 squared means 5 in base and 2 in power. Now if we have 1 to the power 10, it means that number 1 is multiplied by itself 10 times. It means that 1 by 1 by 1 by 1 10 times. So it will be equal 1. If we have 5 to the power 0, as we said before, that any number raised to 0 power will be equal 1. Negative 7 to the power 0 will be equal 1. Plus 7 to the power 0 will be equal 1. So 1 plus 1 equal 2. The last one, 2 power 3 plus 2 power 2. Here 2 power 3 means that number 2 is multiplied by itself 3 times. It means 2 by 2 by 2. It will be equal 8. But 2 power 2, it means that number 2 is multiplied by itself 2 times. 2 by 2, it will be equal 4. Then 8 plus 4 will be equal 12. Thank you.